Ooh.
Hey, y'all, we about to get ready to open up.
It's fine.
You want to use my phone for the questions online? Or you think we're going to get any online?
I got one right there. Oh, yeah,
Ready?
I think you're ready to open up, y'all.
Ready?
Sisters, cover your heads. Brothers, cover your heads.
Our Father which art in heaven,
Our Father which art in heaven,
hallowed be thy name.
hallowed be thy name.
Thy kingdom come,
Thy kingdom come.
thy will be done in earth
Thy will be done on earth
as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. In Jesus' name, amen. Mic check. Mic check. 2 1 2.
Mic check, mic check. 1 2 1 2 1 2. Okay, we're good.
We don't Oh, for real?
Yeah. You heard it.
Okay, let me be quiet now.
I need a media guy. We need a media guy up here. We got kids. All right, we got Q&A, question and answers. Questions regarding the Bible. All right, we got Q&A, question and answers. I ain't as loud. Questions regarding the Bible. Hey, questions that we may have been dealing with throughout the week. Questions that we may have in regards to the lesson. Any questions according to the Bible that you may have, we will try our best to answer them according to the Bible. I am not all-knowing. So, with that being said, whoever has the first question, step to the mound and present thy cause. Right. So we come up with crafts together. We come up with this stuff together. So my question is, am I like, I was kind of subtle with it because I'm like, this is my workplace and I'm trying to figure out like a common ground with it. But then I was like, there's no common ground with serving the Lord. Right. Right. Or am I being like a little, I guess like, I don't know. Zealous? Yeah, like, yeah. So I'm trying to find like the... You can move. Okay. So you trying to find a common ground. I mean, if you already told her, like you ain't got to even really go back and address it anymore. You know what I mean? Because, I mean, that's what God gave you, what you gave her the first time. You know, now if it's ever been presented again and it comes up again, then, you know, you can kind of give her a little bit more if please. But, you know, go to Titus real quick. Because, you know, after the first admonition, meaning like after you don't, you know, rebuke them, or you don't correct them, and you know, even Titus, you know, he talking about the one that don't believe. So like, she would be that as well. But after the first, second admonition, you ain't got to say nothing else. You know, it's kind of what it is. You know, nah, you don't have to partake in her hiding the eggs. I wouldn't. You know what I mean? But you also got to realize is that, see, I had this conversation a couple of days ago, I'm a contractor, so the quote-unquote corporate rules don't really apply like that when you 1099 or whatever. And like I told dude, I was like, man, in most places, man, the two things that you don't want to ever talk about on jobs is politics and religion. You know what I mean? Because now we got somebody getting offended, and now somebody going to HR. So, you know, in your case, you know, you working at a school facility, you know, in a sense, you abiding to their rules, to their bylaws. But now when it's causing you to interact with conflict with God, I ain't got to do that. I got the right to not participate in that. So I'm not going to participate. Hey, you want to teach these kids that? Hey, go along and do it. Because even in you trying to interject and be like, nah, you shouldn't be teaching the kids that, one of the kids going to get back to their parents. And now their parents going to come to the school kicking up dust. And now they ain't finna go along with that. Well, we deal with this. This is what we deal with. You need to have her removed or something, because I don't like the fact that she's not allowing my children to participate in a holiday that we partake in. So it kind of can blow over into that. But you involving yourself, nah, you ain't got to do that. You can easily separate yourself. Titus chapter Titus chapter 3. Yeah, Titus chapter 3, and pick it up at verse 9. Titus 3 and 9. Go ahead and read that, bro.
But avoid foolish questions and genealogies and contentions and strifings about the law.
Go ahead.
For they are unprofitable and vain.
You see that? So, even, Paul is telling us and writing a letter to Titus like, hey, look here, man. Hey, avoid, foolish questions. Because, sometimes foolish questions can lead to making you angry. How can you ask me that? Are you serious? You know what I mean? Like, it can really boil you to that level to where it can cause strife. So it says, avoid foolish questions, genealogies, contentions, and strivings about the law, for they are unprofitable and vain, because it is. Hey, if your intention is to win somebody over, man, avoid the foolish questions, because it's going to lead to strife. Now you're going to become angry, and you didn't even edify the individual. Right? But what is saying verse 10, though?
A man that is a heretic.
You see that? So a man that is a heretic, this is somebody who don't believe the gospel. Somebody who don't really deal with the word. It says a man that is a heretic, what?
After the first and second admonish, reject.
You see that? Reject them. After the first and second one, hey, look here, I don't deal with that. You know what I mean? Okay, if that's what you're going to do, cool, but I'm not partaking in it. I'll let you know again or whatever the case is. But after the first or second, you don't even have to give them a second. Paul is just saying right here is just, look here, man, you ain't got to keep reminding people of this. You know what I mean? You can let them know once. You can let them know twice. You can let them know 3 times. But Paul is just saying right here, man, after the first or second admonishing, meaning like you don't rebuke them. Reject. You know what I mean? Like we done with it. Reject. What does it say in verse 11?
Knowing that he that is such a subvert and sinneth, being condemned of himself.
You see that? So it says, knowing that he that is such is subverted and sinneth. We talking about the one that, hey, the one that you talking to. It says what? Hey, that they subverted and sinneth, being condemned of himself. So, after you don't, address the matter, you ain't even got to address it a second time. You know what I mean? Because now, by you saying it, go to Proverbs real quick. You got something that you want to say on top of that? A comment or? Yeah, you could do that.
Okay, so and I feel like when I asked said something to her about it, she had that to me crazy about not wanting to do it.
Right. Y'all keep it down back there. Micah, you want to come sit up here? Or you gonna keep it down? All right, keep it down. Sit down. Go ahead.
I just want to like basically let her know where I stand. Because you know how sometimes you can give a person like a little bit, like okay, well, whatever. Because that's what I felt like I did. I was like, well, I really don't care. Like, you know, what she said.
Right.
But then it was like, the second statement, I don't care. I'm just not doing it with you. Like,
Right.
yeah, so that statement didn't come again. That's why I feel like the issue with that. Because I don't want her to think, oh, we doing this together. Like, no, we're not doing nothing. You know.
Oh, so she would believe that if you don't go back and say nothing else to her.
I don't want her to believe that. I don't know if she does believe that, but I want them people that like,
You want them to know.
yeah, I want you to know right off the bat. Like if I say something, like if I say, okay, that's personal, but you keep telling me about the situation, it's gonna be like, okay, now look, I already told you once.
Right.
You know, like, and I feel like, and that's what, and I don't want to be disrespected. And I don't want to like disrespect my God. If I told you I don't do something,
Right.
take it as it is. Like, don't push me to that level.
Right.
Okay, look, I already told you, and you're not receiving it. So maybe I need to come into a different way. Not like, aggressive, but maybe I need to have a little bit more sternness about it. Because because sometimes when you say something when somebody wants you, and then you say it again, and maybe if it's like not being said, if they're not receiving it, you give them like a little inch, they'll take a mile.
Right.
And I just don't, and even when I see it in kids, but I see it in adults too. And then like and I don't want her to think, oh, since she let me skate away with this, nigga, when Christmas comes, we gonna be painting Santa Claus around right now.
Is your mic on? I feel like you far away. It feel like it ain't. Hold on for a second. I think I need to turn you up. So yeah, I got you all the way down. Dang. Say something now.
Okay, can you hear me?
It'll probably catch up in a second. Say it again. Mic check.
Can you hear me?
I had you down too low.
So yeah, so it's basically like I don't want her to take the, oh, I don't care, whatever, and then we take like I said, take a little inch, and then you taking a mile, and then it's like it becomes more of a disrespect thing for me. Cause I don't want to get to that point, cause I know like how I can be sometimes about certain things, and I have patience, I have long suffering with people, but if I feel like you come in continuously kind of like, yeah, then I'm like, now I think I gotta address you a different type of way.
Right.
You know what I mean? I just don't want her to think I say I don't care about this part.
Right.
And so then you kind of drag it along a little bit. Like I'm not about to be painting those Santa Claus hands with you, man. Like I can't, like
Right,
I don't
right.
wanna, you know what I mean? So and another thing, I do give different crafts that we can do that don't contain the little, mascots. I would say for the
And you can also be wise like that. You can kind of like, in a sense, just kind of come at her and see how she take it, but be wise about why we even got to do eggs. You know what I mean? Like, is it a school curriculum that everybody got to do it? Okay. Right, so you could be wise about it. Be like, look here, sis. Let's show the kids something else. You know what I mean? Like y'all come up with a different curriculum.
I feel like I already knew before coming in and working with somebody else. I had to think about those things. Like, okay, I know I don't believe in this, but what are other ways that you can implement things in the classroom that don't have anything going against what I believe in already? And like I said, I do incorporate different arts and crafts. I just don't want it to be associated with that.
Right.
The holidays and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So Like it's not like I'm saying, oh, I'm not doing that and I'm not giving you nothing else. Like, oh,
so they give y'all the freedom to.
yeah. So they give us.
It's not like they come in class and be like, oh, okay, this is what y'all got to deal
Yeah,
with.
it's and I feel because everybody else got the eggs and they got the bunnies, and then our classroom, I tried, like I did butterflies for the kids. I did, like, I do stuff,
Right.
but it's just not to that degree. Like, and I've given, yeah, you know what I mean. And I can see the. Yeah, so the spring, like, yeah. So I do the butterflies and the flowers, and I told her I don't have no.
Y'all could do a planting project, like do the little water pot with the little flower, the little seed and the soil, and
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm trying, cause like this is my first time like working. Like I'm used to being over a classroom by myself, so I would have been able to implement things by myself.
Right.
And I already know how to do it because I already thought about it.
Do you get along with the girl? That you?
Yeah, she's we just started working together. Like she's nice, and I could tell, you know, I've had conversations with her, you know, like of my relationship with the Lord and stuff. She don't know in depth. I know she wants to know, but I'm like, you don't want to really know.
Is she a Gentile?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, she is. Yeah.
I mean, you know, you gotta go to Proverbs real quick. Proverbs. Cause Proverbs 11, I think. Cause you know, you gotta just be wise about how you deal. Cause you know what's crazy is, you know, Gentiles will be ready to hear the word more than our peoples will. If she Gentile, if she of another nation, they'll be more than willing to accept this than our own peoples. So you could probably like be wise and crafty about, you know, applying a different method or a different curriculum for the kids. But look at this though. Look at this look at this Proverbs, I want to say Proverbs 11 and read one verse 30.
The fruit of the righteous is a tree of life, and he that winneth souls is wise.
You see that? So, you know, with what Solomon is saying right there, he's talking about like the fruit of the righteous is a tree of life. So it's kind of like the way you conducting yourself or the way that you behaving yourself amongst others. It's like your good works is like the tree of life. And it's like now they're looking at how you behaving, and they may be converted based on your fruit. You know, like you ain't got to really come at her, you know, that harsh because of the fact that she might already be willing to be subject to making a shift in the curriculum if it was brought to the forefront. But in some matters, let's go over to Matthew real quick. And in some matters, you know, Jesus said, hey, we sheep in the midst of wolves. So, you know, by you being in the midst of wolves, you got to kind of be wise when you're dealing with people. Because you got to realize, like, salvation is on the line. Salvation is always on the line, you know, so, you know, when you understand that aspect, then you're gonna kind of be walking on eggshells with people. Not saying that you walking on eggshells to the point where you afraid to, you know, stand up for God. Not that sense. It's just that you really want people to come to this word. So by the Lord using you to bring people into the word, your approach got to be a little bit different. You know what I mean? It got to be a little subtle. You know what I mean? So even in that Proverbs 11, you know what I mean? It's letting you know is that, hey, even your behavior, you know, hey, she looking at you, and you already don't told her that you don't deal with it. Now let's just say she so happened to say something again. Your immediate response don't want to be like, now look here, I don't told you. Nah, you know, like, nah, sis, you know, I don't really deal with that. You want to know why I don't deal with that? You know what I mean? And then maybe I can get into a dialogue, and then maybe she can understand, oh, wow, that's interesting. You know, what else? Yeah.
Another coworker, the conversation came up
Matthew
like
10, where we going at too.
around Christmas time, and I told her, you know, I don't celebrate Christmas, and she was like, okay, and then I left it at that, but then she was like, oh, why don't you celebrate? I was like, you know, it's pagan, and I don't do that, and so she was like, oh, it's pagan and stuff, and then we didn't get too much in depth into the conversation, but I was like, I don't want to be like overzealous to the point where somebody feel like they can't ask me questions about what I do.
Bingo.
So that's like, I know how to be like, you know,
Coy.
try to be like humble and meek about it at the same time, because it's like, you know, they don't know.
Right.
I know.
Exactly.
So like, I know how to like, you know, kind of like, okay, yeah, this is why I do it and this and that forth. But I don't want to like come off as like, oh, if you ask her anything, she gonna get mad.
Nah, you don't want to do that.
You know, I don't want to be like that. That's why, like, I try to be like, well, yeah, this is why I don't. And if they come up with another question, then that's when I be like, okay, so this is why. I let them ask me more so the questions than me like trying to be like combative about things. So yeah.
Right. Look at this Matthew 10 real quick. Matthew 10 and Matthew 10 and let's pick it up at 16. Go ahead.
Behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of
You
wolves.
see that? So the Lord is sending us before wolves, right? But we the sheep. You know, sheep get eaten by wolves. But the Lord is letting you know is that we sheep in the midst of wolves, meaning we can't be like a wolf. We the sheep. So it's like, you know, our approach got to be different of a wolf, but just like a sheep. When you look at a sheep, it's all soft, cuddly, cute, this and that. Like, that's how your approach got to be, you know, as the appearance of a sheep, right? But look at what Jesus said. I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. Be what?
Be ye therefore wise as serpents.
Go ahead.
And harmless as
You
doves.
see that? Be wise as serpents and harmless as doves, right? What is saying 17, bro?
But beware of men,
Go ahead.
for they will deliver you up to the councils,
Keep going.
and they will scourge you in the
So
synagogues.
keep that in mind now. Hey, you're going to be wise as serpent and harmless as dove, but hey, be aware that, hey, they're going to deliver you up to the council. You know what I mean? Like, they're going to scourge you in the synagogues. But you got to realize is that, you know, going through this walk, going through, you know, trying to, you know, be wise about how you deal with people when it comes to the word. Like, you got to be wise with it. You got to be, you know, humble with it, because you got to realize, man, salvation is on the line. You don't never want to be the one that nobody can't talk to. Like, nah, you don't want to be that person. You want to be the one that, okay, you know, maybe I can talk to them. They ain't that bad. You know what I mean? But nah, you know, you definitely want to play on your heels with this one. You know, play more back on your heels and kind of like, you know, hey, see if you can slide in. Hey, sis, let's see if we can come up with something different. You know what I mean? Like, let's see if we can come up with a different curriculum for the kids.